to the next video. In today's video I will show you how to integrate GamePad with JavaScript for web development. So first things first, GamePad is supported by all modern browsers. So if you are on the latest version of Safari or Chrome as of 2023 or Firefox, GamePad is supported. So what is GamePad? So suppose you have a PS4 controller or something, you can easily access that via JavaScript, and this is a very high level API. So suppose some PS4 like gamepads have audio, but that is not like, I'm just giving an example. I'm not really sure whether PS4 gamepad has an audio or not, but some gamepads have audio, so that won't be supported in JavaScript because this is a very high level API. There might be ways of doing it, but not with this API which I'm going to show you. Also like we don't need any external permission to access GamePad. Another thing is so this is how we get how many gamepads are connected to our device. So you can connect GamePad via Bluetooth or via USB. So if you see in Firefox, it just says length is 0 because no GamePad is connected. If you see it in Safari, okay, empty, still no GamePad connected. But if you see in Chrome, it just gives an array of null even though no GamePad is connected. So just be careful about how the return type is. So let's get started. So I'm using Next.js, which is a React framework, but you can easily integrate this with any kind of a framework or vanilla JavaScript as well. Like, there is no framework specific theme over here. So what I have done is, so I have this component, and if you see inside the use effect, so what is use effect? Like, use effect is the initial callback which we get once a component has been loaded. So use whatever makes sense for you, like whatever framework you are using. So there is this event listener whether to check whether a gamepad has been connected or not. So you can use this event listener to check whether gamepad has been connected or disconnected. Suppose a gamepad has been connected and you are not using it for quite some time, like I'm not sure what exactly is the time, but the gamepad can automatically go to sleep, and so to connect it again, the user will have to press manually a button on the gamepad and it gets automatically connected. Again, there is no permission required for gamepad. So once a gamepad is connected, you can call this get gamepad, and I am checking whether gamepad is available for this browser or not. If yes, so here I am checking both. If it is length is greater than 0 and gamepads of 0 is not equal to null, then call this game loop. Okay, once you get gamepad, so this is how the screenshot looks like. So this is a Chrome screenshot. The output might differ a little in Safari and Firefox. So here you can see once a game, so I have connected one gamepad, and if you see the first gamepad, it has 18 buttons. So that's a lot of buttons. But if you see first, second and third index are still null because only one gamepad is connected. So you can connect multiple gamepads as well. So but we in this case we will be checking only for one gamepad. So okay, so suppose one gamepad has been connected, and now I want to check whether the whether the first 3 buttons for a particular gamepad has been pressed or not. Again, there is no easy API for this, but you can easily get using a Windows request animation frame. So what I'm doing is, I'm calling game loop over here. I'm getting the gamepads, then I'm checking whether this button 0, I mean button first button was pressed or not, or if the access was pressed or not. So if you see over here, there is this button, okay, and as well as there is this access as well. So depending on that, you can check whether which button was pressed. So I have taken an array of just three array of length 3, and if suppose button 0 was pressed, then I'm making this as true. If access 0 was moved greater than 0.5, like in left or right direction, so you can see over here, then I'm assigning the buttons array to true of index 1 and index 2, and I'm updating the frame plus. Now if like this method, this entire game loop is called every frame per second, like 60 frames per second. So depending on what last button has been picked, that logic will get implemented for that particular frame per second. Okay, so here I am checking if frames like modulo 60 is equal to 0, then check what is true. So if button 0 is true, then do something over here. If button 1 is true, do something over here. Button 2 is true, do something over here. And again I'm setting everything back to false, and this request animation frame will keep playing our will keep implementing our logic like recursively every like 60 frames per second. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys about integrating gamepad. Thank you. Bye.